90s Nightmares podcast.
Hello and welcome to your new favorite podcast. If you grew up like we did, watching shows like Are You Afraid of the Dark, Goosebumps, if you read all the scary stories to tell in the dark books, and you're a full-fledged adult now, this is where we hang out. This is where we are, man. I'm happy you found us. I'm so glad you're here. This show is called the 90s Nightmares podcast, and it has two hosts. My name is Darek.
And my name is Booze.
And we're very happy you're here. Super quick announcement before we get into the icebreaker question. Our merch store is live. If you're watching on video, then you're probably wondering, wow, tell me about that super high quality, super comfy looking hoodie you have on, Darek. Gee, willikers. Well, I will. So it features our OG skull. It's got the green skull. The green is very reminiscent of things like Goosebumps and Nickelodeon slime, right? And the eyes, they have that blue tint to it, which is very much an Are You Afraid of the Dark vibe, you know, when it gets spooky ooky in the nighttime and everything kind of turns blue for some reason. So those are the two colors that we picked for this particular logo. Now the color I'm wearing is charcoal gray, but it also comes in black and several other colors that you will look great in. The shirts, hats, bags, all the good stuff. And I'm not just saying this. Well, maybe I am, but I want you to know how cool they are, dude. So I ordered this hoodie for myself. My wife put it on. She goes, "This is my new favorite hoodie. It's so comfortable." So I ordered one for her as well. So now,
Nice.
So now I own two of our own hoodies. But let me tell you what, dude, even if they weren't ours, I'd still rock these every single day. They're super comfortable. They're very high quality, and they have these like athletic drawstrings. And when you put the hood on, it doesn't like turn into that like a pokey bit. You know how like low quality hoodies, you put the hood on and there's like that point at the top, like it's a hood.
Yeah.
Not this
I hate
one.
that.
It's round. It looks good. It's comfortable. You don't look like a dork when you wear it. So there, get yours.
Right on, yeah.
The merch store is hosted by Spreadshirt, and I'm going to put the link. If I remember, it'll be like the very first link in the description. So go check it out. If you see anything you like, grab something, put it on, show us, send it to us.
Yeah,
We
please
want to
do.
see you wearing it. So that's the merch pitch. Now, this is what the episode is for. Thank you for letting me do that. We are diving in to season 1, episode 10 of Are You Afraid of the Dark? This one's called The Tale of Jake and the Leprechaun. Been looking forward to this one because while I've seen most episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark throughout my childhood, I have not seen every single one of them, and I don't have all of them committed to memory. This is one that I've never seen before. What about you, Booze?
Yeah, this one, if I've seen this one before, if I watched it as a younger me, I don't remember watching this one. So it was almost, whether or not I can't confirm or deny anything, I'm going to go ahead and just say that this is my first viewing because it definitely feels like that. It's not reminiscent. I don't really have there wasn't too many scenes where I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. It all felt very new.
For some reason, the music felt very familiar to me. So like maybe this was just on when I was a kid, but I was just doing something else. I don't remember.
Yeah, maybe.
But anywho, so The Tale of Jake and the Leprechaun. Now, Booze, I'm going to add an uh-oh cut right here. I don't have an icebreaker question set up, but
Okay.
I will find one as quick as I can. All right, now, Booze, before we jump into the episode, we like to start most of our episodes with an icebreaker question, just to get a little bit loosened up and just to kind of learn more about each other. Now, would you rather be the smartest person in the room or the funniest person in the room, and why?
Definitely funniest. And why? Not really sure I can give any and enlighten anybody on why I picked that one. It just sounds, I would definitely prefer, I'd rather be funny than smart. I really don't know why, but yeah, definitely be the funniest person in the room.
Interesting. Okay, gotcha. I've been on this like self-motivation, self-help, personal evolution journey for not a long ass time, but for long enough. So my brain wants me to say be the smartest person in the room. However, most of like the teachings say to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. So maybe I don't want to be the smartest person in the room, because then what are you there to learn? So I'm going to agree with you. I think I'm just going to swap answers and change up on myself. I would also rather be the funniest person in the room out of those two options, at least.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's definitely what I would prefer to be.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now that I've thought more for more than 2.5 seconds about it, funniest. I would agree with you for sure on that. Okay, cool. We don't agree on a whole lot of things, but we do on this one.
We sure do. We sure do.
Speaking of agreeing, let's rate this episode out of 5. Do you have a rating ready?
Yes. So just to preface this, when we do the same time, I don't know what the hell is happening. Not gonna lie. You say 3, 2, 1, and I say it right after that, and I know you are saying, but for some reason there's some kind of disconnect, so where we're not matching up, and I'm not sure exactly why. I don't know if I need to wait after you say 1, give it 1 second after that, and so we both do it at the same time, or what. But there's always I always feel like I'm missing that window, and I don't know why. I don't know why.
Are you saying there's a legitimate delay on your side, and that you're not?
It almost feels like it in the moment.
Whoa! See, this whole entire time, I thought you were just messing with me, and I thought you were just letting me go first, so so that you could better inform your rating.
The whole time I'm legitimately trying to match it with when we both say what the rating is, but I never, I don't know what there is, some kind of delay or disconnect or something where I am doing it a half second after or what.
Okay, I have an idea then. So let me do the countdown like I always do. I'm going to insert my own delay so that you and I can say ours at the same time. Now that I know it's a legitimate delay and you're not just messing with me, I thought you have been this whole time. I think I know. I think I know how to fix it. I thought you were turning it into like a thing where I'm just gonna wait every single time.
No, I've tried it both ways too, saying it immediately after you say 1 and waiting after you say 1, and it still doesn't match up or link up. So,
okay, gotcha. So then you say it immediately, and then I think I know a way around this. Okay, cool. Let's just practice it in real time.
Okay.
With your real rating, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
3,
2. Hey, it worked a little bit. Little bit. Yes. Okay, cool. Well, now that I know it's an actual problem, I know how to fix it.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so I rated it a 2. Did I hear you say 3?
Yeah, 3.
Okay. I'm coming at it from a perspective of this is culturally maybe not okay anymore. Like this, at least.
Oh yeah, for sure. That part we're 100% on board with, no question about it. That's not why I'm rating it. If I'm kind of showing my cards a little bit here and showing my hand, it is 100% because of a few scenes visually where I found it actually kind of the aesthetic and the costumes and stuff when it came to the actual Leprechaun, it actually was creepy.
I see. Okay. So set design, costume design.
Yeah. All the props and stuff, all that stuff. That's where it's setting it above where if you're talking, definitely this isn't really culturally or socially acceptable anymore. Yeah. That would have been a way, way farther down.
Right. You don't make this episode in 2020 something, but
no, for sure.
When it airs on October 17, 1992, it's good. It gets a 3 or more out of 5. But just putting the 2020 something lens on there, I give it a 2.
Yeah.
The music was
100%.
It was very good though. I liked the music and the set design just like you did.
Same. Yep.
So here's the synopsis. All right. It says Jake, an aspiring young actor, is in a play where during rehearsals, strange things start happening to him when it's only a matter of time before opening night. Hold on. Does that make sense?
Say it again.
You get it.
Say it again one more time for me.
Jake, an aspiring young actor, is in a play where, during rehearsals, strange things start happening to him when it's only a matter of time before opening night. I think that could have been written better.
That definitely could have been written better. It's kind of stumbling a little bit there.
All right. Well, to the listeners, stick with us. If you haven't watched the episode already, and we encourage you to do so, by the way, we're watching on Paramount Plus. They have most of the episodes in order. There's a few episodes that aren't on Paramount Plus, and I assume it's because music copyrights or something bureaucratic and silly like that.
Yeah.
Some episodes are on YouTube, but for the most viewing, we're watching on Paramount Plus together. So I encourage you to watch along with us. We do one episode every 2 weeks, which means the next one's going to be episode 11 of season 1. We'll find out what that is and we'll do it together. And that's okay if it happens many more times. It's totally fine. Well then, let's boogie oogie. So I want to start this recap with at least one fun fact, right? So Jake, which is the main character of the story, the young dude, he's played by Benjamin Planer. I'm not sure how to say it. Anyways, he's one of the few actors that's been in Are You Afraid of the Dark and in Goosebumps, which is very cool, I think. Also, his brother Noah Planer played Dougie in the Tale of the Twisted Claw. Remember that episode?
Okay, yeah. Okay.
That was the monkey's paw where they went up to that witch's house and broke the vase.
Yep.
Yes, which fun fact is, at least as at the time of recording this, is our most viewed YouTube video and podcast download. So people really liked that one for some reason. I'll have to find out why. And
I'm not really sure why either, but I'll take it. Yeah.
Yeah. And even if we never figure out why that one's the most viewed, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to say, if memory serves, 2 episodes out of all 90 something where the narrator scheduled to do the story that night either backs out or gets replaced. That only happened 2 times. This is one of them. I don't remember who was supposed to tell the story tonight. However, Eric steps up and he says, hey, my grandpa just died. He used to tell stories. This was one that he told me and I want to share it with you guys. So maybe it was just that, maybe Midnight Society goes, hey, he's going through something and this is kind of how he wants to grieve. So we'll let him do it this way.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm picking up.
Yeah, me too.
So Eric sits down at the narrator's chair. He says, my pop just died. And this is one of my favorite stories. And the reason why he liked this story or all of his pop stories is because he would do different voices for every characters and he'd get really into the scene, which is just fun for everybody.
Oh, it always is.
Took a little drink of water. All right.
It's okay.
So the story starts, right? We open on a particularly intense scene where there's 2 forces that are about to fight and there's a child involved to some degree. It looks pretty intense almost immediately. All of a sudden, kid falls down, looks up at the 2 actors. He says, oops, sorry. Camera pans back and then we realize, oh, this is a rehearsal for a play, probably at a school or something.
Yeah. Yep.
And I love when Dark does this and when other media does this in general. You zoom in on a part of a story that's kind of a false start and then one of the characters literally stumbles and says sorry, and then you pan out and it's just they're practicing a play.
Right.
I think that's
right. Yep.
I think that's fun.
I like that too.
I've seen that a lot, but I've not seen it enough for it to affect me negatively and go, ugh, not this again,
Yeah. Yeah. Which is good.
So one of the characters' names is Aaron. He's the older dude. Maybe he's a little bit more seasoned in acting and he's kind of directing this play a little bit, but he's also starring in it too. Go figure.
Yeah.
We find out that Aaron makes his own herbal tea and it helps him be more creative. Now,
yeah,
when you're 8 and watching this, you're like, okay, cool. Herbal tea makes you more creative. But when you're 30 something watching this, you go, hey, what's really in that tea, sir?
Yeah. That's the whole time. That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, yeah, what's really in there though? What's making you so creative, bud?
Yes. And then maybe can I have some? All right.
Yeah, I was going to say, here's my cup. Here's my cup too. If you want to give me some of that quote unquote herbal tea, I'll take some as well.
I got my red cup, dude. Pour me one. So we get to meet Lucy, which is kind of the stagehand. Lucy's in charge of getting Aaron his tea whenever he demands it. Jake goes to Lucy. Jake says, hey, what's in that tea? What are the ingredients? And Lucy says, good luck getting these ingredients. Aaron only knows where they are, and he likely won't give them to you. But here's the list anyway, for some reason.
Yeah.
So later that day, Jake goes to this herbal garden store, right? And he gets to meet the most Irish stereotypical person that I've ever experienced. Dude's name is Sean O'Shaney. And can I just say that when we were 10 and below, did you feel like you were taught booze? And if you're listening as well, that Ireland was basically 3 things. It was just beautiful green grass and trees all the time. Everybody talked very funny and nobody was more than 4 feet tall. Is that what you were kind of led to believe?
Pretty much. I think so. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, cool. How times have changed. Super small tangent. At work the other day, me and one of my colleagues, we were talking about Who is the little person that is in Game of Thrones? He also played Trask in the X-Men movies. Peter. Dinklage. Thank you. He's making huge strides for like the little people
Peter
community,
Dinklage.
and he's like being held way up for taking on roles in Hollywood that are not just leprechauns or dwarves or Oompa Loompas or fill in the blank, dude. He's like playing characters where they just happen to be a little person, and he's being championed for that. I think he deserves it. Plus, he's an amazing actor, dude. But here we are in 1992, where if you want to hire a leprechaun, you go get
For sure.
hire a dwarf.
For sure.
And that's just how it's done.
Yep. And those are the only roles that they're probably getting, unfortunately, for the most part,
Agreed.
which is
So
shitty,
we're at
but
the
I'm
herbal
glad
shop.
times have changed,
Long
at least in
overdue.
that aspect.
We're at the
to
herbal shop.
nowadays.
We meet Sean O'Shaney.
Long overdue.
He's a little person, very Irish, right? He welcomes Jake into his shop. Jake says, "Hey, I've got this list of ingredients. I'm hoping you can help me out. I want to make some tea." Sean says, "Absolutely. You've come to the right place." He's very helpful. Hand me the list. I'll show you where everything is. Jake hands him the list. He looks it over, and I forget what the ingredients were. Dogwood, foxclaw. Make up your own, fill in the blank. And he goes, "Wait a second. This is not. You've
I didn't
come to
write
the
that
wrong
down,
place. Get out of here. This is not a shop for things like this." And we still don't know exactly what he's kind of on about, but he's very offended at this list of ingredients that's taken him by surprise. So he kicks Jake out of his shop. He says, "Get out of here."
Yeah, very much.
Fast forward, we're back at the school. We're at the play rehearsal now, but something's just not right. Something seems wrong. Now, Aaron, the guy that's playing the lead role, we start to kind of get hints that he might be putting an actual real spell on Jake because he's being weird. We find out he lives like in a room under the stage that only he goes to. And as they're saying the lines, Aaron's trying really hard to get Jake to finish the spell that's in the script, right? But the further Jake gets into the spell, the more his voice changes, the more he starts to feel like really weird, and it's kind of hard to explain. So that happens, right? And then now later that day, or maybe it's the next day, Jake goes back to the garden shop. He wants to try again. And he's a little bit worried that, he heard his voice change. He felt his body kind of take on some kind of transformation. And this is not just puberty, by the way. This is probably something else that he should maybe be equally as scared of, but it's something else. Probably a little bit dark. Sean O'Shaney recognizes Jake. He tries to kick him out again. He says, you didn't understand this the first time, dude. Get out of my shop and stay out. Jake relents. He says, "No, I have a problem and I want to tell you about it." And then Sean goes, "Okay, right." So he just kind of flips up. That's when Jake tells him that he's in a play with somebody named Aaron. And when we get to the spell portion of the play, he starts feeling weird. This gets Sean's attention. Sean O'Shaney. And he says, "You know what? I think I have an inkling as to what's going on. I actually do have all the ingredients that you requested yesterday. Here they are." He gives them to Jake. He says, "But you have to be careful." Jake says, "What? I thought these were hard to find. How did you find them?" That's when we find out that when you trade, a trade is pretty much very hard to undo, and it's almost what's the phrase? Unwarranted. It doesn't matter if you want it or not. If one person says, "Yours be mine and mine be yours," trade's done. There's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
So he mentions to Jake that a long time ago, he came across these ingredients, probably figured he'd need them one day. And then so he traded his favorite toothpick, he says, for the ingredients. And maybe a toothpick then is not what it is now. And maybe it's something else. I don't know. But just the thought of like a little tiny wooden toothpick is like my favorite one. Just very weird. Those are just things that you throw away when you're done with, right? You don't have a favorite one. All right. So Jake has now warned Sean O'Shaney of the potential dangers of finishing the play and actually performing it on the night of the performance. So Sean O'Shaney says, "Okay, I'm going to come with you to the rehearsals. I'm going to check it out myself." So he does. Now, Sean O'Shaney realizes that Aaron, the main character in the play and who also I think is the director, is actually a real monster. We don't know if he's a demon or a leprechaun or a witch or what, but he is up to no good. That's for sure. And Mr. O'Shaney realizes that he is planning on doing something very, very bad to Jake. Now, in order to save Jake, Sean O'Shaney and Jake, They come up with a master plan. First, they need to go down into Aaron's room, figure out what's going on, right? Find out what kind of monster he really is, find out what his plans are, and then see if there's a way to kind of counteract that. So in order to do that, Sean O'Shaney, again with his pipe that's freaking 2 feet long, stereotypical, he moves a chair underneath a smoke detector, holds his pipe up there to the smoke detector, smoke alarm goes off, right? Everybody runs out. Oh, wait a second. I skipped a very important piece. World's worst recapper, sorry. The moment that Sean O'Shaney discovers that Aaron really is up to no good, he gets frazzled. So Sean O'Shaney runs over to the prop area where all the ropes are and all the things are being held together. He pulls on a rope, basically destroying half the set, right? So he interrupts the entire thing because that's the only thing he can do to stop the play, kind of seemingly naturally. So that happens. Then Aaron runs down to his room. Then Jake gets to meet up with Sean O'Shaney underneath a table somewhere and talk about the plan that they're about to hatch. That leads us to then Sean O'Shaney putting his pipe up to the smoke detector, setting it off. And because of that, they go hide. Aaron runs out of the room to go make sure everybody's okay or to get away from danger, probably is more likely what it is. And that frees up his room to be investigated by Jake and Sean O'Shaney, right? Are you with me so far? Am I making sense, dude?
No, you are. I'm with you.
I said, am I making sense? And you said, no.
You are.
No, you are.
Yeah. I do want to hit on, I don't know if this scene has happened yet. I think it was just a little bit before they go into the room when he's sitting on that bench and Sean comes up and he's like kind of eye level with him and he's smoking that pipe the whole time. He's just blowing that smoke like right in his face the whole time. And it was cracking me up.
Oh, is he? I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, just blow that smoke right in the kid's face.
Oh, wow. That went right over my head. Okay, cool. How rude of him, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to save your life and make sure you're not turned into some monster, but I'm going to smoke you out first.
Yeah,
right?
but this is what what it's going to take in order to do so. You got to deal with all this secondhand.
What's in that pipe? Is it the same stuff that's making Aaron more creative, do you think?
I think so. I think there's a combination of the both. You'll be really creative.
All right. Well, now that Aaron's been distracted and brought out of his room because there's a smoke alarm going off, Jake and Shaney, Mr. O'Shaney, go into Aaron's room. This is where they find out that Aaron is actually a Banshee, right? They get to see his master plan. They get to see the shrine that he's kind of built and that he's continuously working on. They say he's a Banshee. And what we learn is that every 7 years, a Banshee has to eat and or sacrifice a human child in order to remain healthy, in order to remain a Banshee and just live on his Banshee life. And, it's not hard to connect the dots. Jake has become Aaron's next target. And in order for Aaron to really prevail over Jake, we have to get to that part in the play where Jake reads the magic spell out loud that's in the script, but really it's real magic and we just don't know that yet. So where are we at? Once we found out that Aaron is a Banshee, Sean O'Shaney says to Jake, he says, there's 3 rules to beating a Banshee. Pay very close attention. Rule 1 is you have to be fearless, right? Rule 2 is you have to give him a taste of his own medicine. And rule 3 is don't take your eyes off him. That's it. Just 3 easy things to do in order to beat a Banshee. So they have the plan. They know what they're doing. Now, we don't really get to see, it's almost like we're just more learning all the exposition of what a Banshee is and how to defeat it while they're making concoctions and planning the unveiling of their plan. So we don't actually get to see what they're really up to until it comes time to actually do the play later that night for real. Now, fast forward to later that night, the play is actually happening. There's an audience in the auditorium, lights are up, the whole set is up, everybody's in full costume. It looks really cool. And to your point about set design and costumes, very awesome.
Yeah, very
cool.
Very much.
I'm a big fan. It looked great. So before we know it, we get to the part of the play where Jake has to say the spell and then finally be turned into what I guess is eventually a frog that Aaron eats. I guess. Am I picking up on that, right?
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at with it too. So, I mean, that's
okay.
Yeah. So
90s horror for children. Very good. So remember the 3 rules. Be fearless. Give the Banshee a taste of his own medicine and don't take your eyes off him. Now, Jake is not as fearless as he probably should have been. And he also lost his gaze with the Banshee. He took his eyes off of Aaron, which led him then to disappear and kind of show his true self. And now they're actually fighting. Now it's a real magic battle that the audience thinks is just very, very cool smoke and mirror tricks.
Yes.
Thankfully,
that's where my rating comes in for the most part, is like the change from when he lost his gaze and then he comes back, the actual makeup, like set design, all that stuff when he came back as a leprechaun. It was actually kind of pretty creepy looking and pretty solid, honestly, for its time.
Okay. I got you. I see why you gave it a 3 out of 5. Very solid points. Turns out Aaron's real name is Gort. Did you catch that?
I missed that part.
Such a cool name for like a mythical banshee. Gort.
Gort. Yeah.
That's a dude that's up
fits.
to no good.
It fits.
Gort. It does fit. Now, where am I at on my notes? So during this magic battle, right, that's happening in front of real people that they just don't know is real, Aaron seems to be winning. Aaron gets the upper hand. He eventually turns Jake into a frog. So luckily, Sean O'Shaney is still off in the wings, kind of waiting to be of service. He comes out. Now it's Sean versus Aaron, right? Is that where my notes stopped, bro? Where did I leave off? All right. Well, I'm doing the rest from memory. Sean O'Shaney comes out, saves the day, kicks Aaron's butt, dude. Now, the way he did it was was that a snake that Sean was holding that he pulled out of his back pocket? Did you see what that was?
Was it a snake or was it his tail?
Oh, maybe it was his tail. I think it was his tail. I watched the episode twice, and I think when he said the word of what it was, maybe I just looked away for a second. But yeah, it looked like it could have been a tail. I thought it was a snake just because I had no context as to what it was. But
right.
I'm going to assume you're probably right, and that was his tail. It was kind of wiggling like a tail would. So anyways, yes. Sean O'Shaney has Gort's tail, and he makes a trade. He says, I'm going to give you your tail back, but I'm taking that frog back, which is really Jake. So he says, yours be mine, mine be yours. Nothing Aaron can do about the trade. Boom, he happens. So now Gort poofs. He just magics away, right? And then, do you remember, but then the frog that Jake is still was left on the rock on the actual theater stage. Do you remember how, oh, that's right. Sean O'Shaney basically spreads some magic dust. He pulls out his dust sack.
Yeah, nice throwback.
Thank you. Thank you for catching that. Spreads it all over the frog, says a magic spell, turns the frog back into the little boy Jake. Again, audience is just losing their nuts right now, dude. They think this is the coolest thing they've ever seen. Yeah. Not knowing that it's actual magic. So, show's over. And the whole time this is happening, by the way, Lucy, like the set person, maybe she's the director. I don't know. It was never made clear to me, at least. She's like, hold on, did we miss this in rehearsal? Because they're not used to seeing any of this. This is all brand new to everybody backstage. Right. And when the camera cut to them just freaking out and throwing costumes all over the place and trying to figure out where in the script they are, I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, I enjoyed that too. I like that part.
So that's the story, dude. Boy goes up against an actual banshee, gets saved by an actual leprechaun that knows real magic, and it all happens in front of a live audience. That's a really good story. I
liked it. I really did. That was another highlighted part of this episode where I enjoyed.
Now, on the way out of the episode, I hope you caught this. They used a flute, what I assume was a flute or some kind of very traditional Irish instrumentation to play the Are You Afraid of the Dark theme song. Did you catch that?
Oh, yes, I did, because I think I did. Yep, I wrote that down too because I liked that. That was cool. That was a nice little addition towards the end.
I did like that. Now, they didn't do it for like the outro, the credits, but they did sneak in the theme song and a flute while the story was wrapping up. I thought that was cool. Now, let me just say, my bias against Jeff Fisher, which is unbased, by the way. It's not based on anything. I realized that I didn't know I didn't know which composer did the music for this episode until the very end. And I could feel myself just dogging on Jeff Fisher because I said, oh, that's a nice touch. I like how they took the flute and they played the actual intro of the show while in the show. I thought that was a nice touch. And then I realized that it was Jeff Fisher and I went, well, Well, that's the obvious choice. Anybody would have done that. And I was just being so unfair to Mr. Fisher for no reason. Like if, for example, Ray Fabi and Judy Henderson, the team that I like, does the music every now and then. If they would have done it, I would have gone, oh, great touch. I liked how they did that. Very smart.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I knew that Jeff Fisher did it. So I was like, man, anybody could have done that.
Right. Poor Jeff.
Those are my notes, man.
That's really all I had. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna stick with a 3 just for the visual and set design and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I rated it a 2. You rated it a 3. Respectable. New segment in our show. Can Booze and Darek take on the main antagonist of the episode?
On this one,
I would say yes.
Yes. Yeah.
He's an older dude in his 50s, 60s, probably just from sight. He does know magic, but you have to be dumb enough to fall for it, right?
Right.
I think Booze and Darek can take on Gort.
Yeah, I think we got this one again. I think we got it.
Okay. I like the way that sounds. There's nothing that can stop us, dude. Hey, super quick before we wrap. You probably heard a slightly version of the new intro for the episode. Thank you for that if you noticed. That was our very good friend. Her name is Amanda Jane. She's from the Darkest Hour scary story narration channel. It's called The Darkest Hour. She's amazing at what she does. Even before Booze and I got into narrating scary stories, I can't speak for yourself, but I can speak for me that she was one of the inspirations for me. So she's been around for longer than me. And there's a small part of me that believes that if there's no Amanda Jane, there's no Darek Weber.
Wow. Okay. Right on. Yeah. No, but she is that good. I will double down 100% on that. She is that good.
Mm-hmm. So we reached out a couple of episodes ago. You might remember we talked about how good she is and just the quality of all of her stories and the way she delivers them. So I decided to hit her up and say, hey, can you make something for us, please? And this is what we got back. It's just super quick and it's just a nice touch. So thank you, Amanda Jane.
It's perfect.
And I hope everybody likes it. Anything else, Booze?
I don't think so. I don't. Hopefully nobody. I don't think anybody will find this offensive because it's not. It's like a child said it because he doesn't know any better than he's 4. But I was folding laundry and rewatching this episode earlier, and just to get a nice, refresher before we got into it because it had been like a week or so since I watched it, and I can't remember which scene exactly it was, but Sean was on scene and my son just comes into the room and goes, "Oh, I love that little guy." And I started just dying laughing. I was like, "Oh my God, dude, are you serious?"
Hey, points for being like kids, dude. Points for being positive. My oldest, we saw a little person at a Walmart or something in town, and my oldest, who was maybe 4 or 5 at the time, he kept looking. And I was kind of just going to let him ask the question if he was, or just let him see how he reacted naturally. I think the question was, is that a little person? Like literally, yeah, the answer is yes, dude. They're not like different,
Right.
I kind of had to have I almost did like the parent thing where we I felt like I had to sit down and explain that there's different types of people that look this and this. And he didn't want to do that. He was just like, oh, okay, cool. Good to know. And then he was ready to move on. And I was going, oh, okay, well. See,
that's a good, it seems like a fairly positive interaction or reaction to that. I feel like my son, he's always, because me personally, I'm like a really awkward person. I'm not good with small talk and things like that, especially with strangers. And he is very open and blatant and has gotten me into very, very awkward situations with strangers because he'll yell and point and stare and gawk and be like, "Daddy, what's that?" Or be like, "Ew, gross." Like just stuff like that on a regular basis. So he calls it what he sees it and obviously kids being kids, they don't know any better, and I'll teach him along the way. But yeah, I guarantee there won't be the last awkward encounter he puts me in. So
hopefully not, just for the sake of getting some good stories and then in the near future from you, hopefully.
Yeah,
not.
for sure.
All right, brother, let's wrap.
Let's do it.
I want to thank Booze, you for spending the time to actually make this show with me. I appreciate you very much, sir. To the listener, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for hanging out for as long as you have. We, just to wrap up a couple of things, again, merch, we're going to put the merch link at the top of the description, whether you're watching on YouTube or, on Spotify or Apple or something. So if you want to go check it out, please do. Encourage you. We do make a few bucks every time we sell a hoodie. So take that for what it's worth. Thank you, Amanda Jane, for tweaking our intro for the way better. And check out Paramount Plus. This is where we watch most of these episodes. So like, for example, season 1, there's 10 episodes on Paramount Plus. There's actually 13 in real life. So 3 of the episodes for season 1, we had to go to YouTube and watch those. But for the most part, we're on Paramount Plus. Go check that out. And until then, 2 weeks, man. We're going to do the next one in 2 weeks. We'll see you then.
We'll see you then. Thanks.
The 90s.